Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And yeah, I started a little bit early. The spirit has been tugging at me today. And sincerely, to those of you who've already stopped by, you know already. Choose love and praise God. Sincerely, enjoy the adventure you're living. I'm inspired again today. Thoughts of love, ideas of possibilities, and, some time to kill. So it's Friday afternoon, Friday evening, Friday energies are with me. But what does that mean, right? Well, everything has a different meaning. Everything has a different everything has a different result and purpose. Holy cows. Fat narcissistic cult leader, loser, failure, bum. Thank you for joining. Praise God. Holy cows. There is a Talcottian adventure, a community of folks who I think you get me. And so it is with love that I chose to start a few minutes early. And it is with love that I'm here again today. Because this life we're living, holy cows, man, holy cows, praise God. Praise God for here and now, in the present, right? So what could today mean? How about we just start with it simple and let's be grateful. Let's let today mean gratitude. So happy Friday to all of you. Whether you're here in the now or here in the later, praise be. Let's give thanks to God, our Heavenly Father, for his gifts so freely bestowed upon us. Those words are true, and every good gift, every perfect gift is from above. Thoughts and desires, this is what I've realized. Thoughts and desires bring forth the spirits of bitterness or joy into your experiences. Trust in the source of goodness. Allow the source of goodness to be a friendly mystery to you. But trust in that source of goodness and invite the spirit of love to lead you through today. And love and gratitude, they go together. They should never be separated. I don't know that they really can if we're honest. So what I've been practicing for myself, and I believe these words are true, we all have this capacity to surrender. Surrender to the present of today, the gift of the present moment. Surrender to that and walk with the spirit of love leading you as a child here on earth, to receive all that life brings forth, all the goodness that may be. And praise God, Provo, you too. I love you. I am such a fan of this guy. I know he doesn't like to attract subscribers and such. He's very humble. But this guy, Provo, man, he is entertaining and very gifted. But he's right, pointing out the obvious, man. Pointing out the obvious. Yep, another Talcott post with 0 likes. And the thing is, I'll probably quote myself again, even though nobody liked it. See, what I've been realizing in life, brothers and sisters, we are on a journey, on an adventure of discovery every day. And what are we here to discover? We're here to discover who we become, what we might accomplish, what can we do with all that we've been given. That's the idea of the universe, how to bring forth the greatest from the least. I forgot where I was going with that. Hey, and you know what? I realize what I'm doing. I can trigger a lot of people, but this is God's path for me. And I honor with all my ability. I pray to honor Jesus and what he taught. For it was through the Bible and what I learned from the Bible that became convinced of the Father Absolute. And to know that the Holy Spirit is the essence of God with me to lead me. And the voice, the counsel of Jesus, it's there. It's in life. Life is a gift. And the Christic is our essence, a perfection, a freedom, an authentic and sincere, noble, honorable being. That's within us all, every moment of our life, whether we accept it or not, whether we embody the goodness or not. The capacity is within us all, I believe. But we're all on our individual paths of character development, so to say. Life, the society, the American way, it's a real life action role playing strategy game, right? Monopoly and Risk and holy cows, man, the games that silly people will play. Praise God. Praise God for this adventure of life, for all of the past. Everything that happened in the past had to happen for today to be the way that it is. And I feel good about today, despite what I know about things. But today and every day is an opportunity for all of us to live. Now, the world we were born into, the conditioning of schools and entertainment and commerce and all of this, it's taught people to believe a lot of different things. What you believe doesn't matter as much as what you do. But there's a lot of people saying things and then doing opposite of that. I try not to do that myself, but people are people. I try to I try to embody love. That's the words I offer because it is through love that we get to learn, that we get to enjoy, that we get to grow. Life and love go together. Look at yourself from an outside perspective with compassion. What's your relationship with love? Right? It's not a physical thing, but it's a power and it's a force. What's your relationship with love? That's a topic I never really considered much because I loved things. I loved people. I told them all the time. But evidence shows in my past, in my patterns of daily drinking as an alcoholic, I was literally out of my mind. I wasn't making logical choices. So, this is the world we live in. The world you and I were born into, there's real life conspiracies, okay? There's rumors of conspiracies, but there's real life conspiracies. There's no denying the conspiracies that have been enacted and perpetrated against innocent people. So I'm not one for blame so much as I am solution oriented, right? I've conditioned myself through practice, through a strong, regular religious practice of gratitude. I maintain a pretty positive mindset. And with a positive mindset, you can become solutions oriented, where a problem is just an opportunity. It's an opportunity to shine. And the world has a lot of problems right now. Each of us, each day, we can be a part of the problem in the lives of others and ourselves, or we can be a solution for ourselves and for each other. That's what I'm praying that I'm doing, to be honest, because the world is ready for more. And every single one of us, I've heard this before and I can't prove it, but it makes sense to me. There is a unity to the unfoldment of time. You and me and everyone we know, we're all characters in this. We're all participants. Our level of participation in the world, that's our own individual paths. As you heal yourself, as you spend time each day with love and peace and gratitude, being a light in your life, it does more than we see. I can't prove this. This is some of the reassurance I give to myself, but it makes sense. We are the human body that is living at this time, whether it's divided by nations, religion, color, language, culture. We are one human body here on earth. And if you pause and you allow yourself to become still, that's what I did with it. This thought came up to me, and I can already hear the criticisms of it, but consider this for yourself. The practice of inner stillness, becoming zero, becoming absent of time or space, going within, and the practice of inner stillness, it opens up in that time within you, it opens up an energetic portal for transformation to emerge. This thought came up in my mind and I started thinking about it, and it is absolutely true. It's in periods of stillness where you can actually bring your awareness into the feelings and connect through the feelings and your mind. You can bring the subconscious into the conscious through honest, still, the practice of objective reflection, right? You reflect on the past and the other people and the experiences, and you consider that without being moved by emotions, without being moved by judgments. The practice of inner stillness allows the truth to arise from within. And with a unity of mind and heart, right? So you're not allowing the energies to get corrupted with anger and misery and shame. With the unified force of your mind and your heart, love will lead you to healing. And as you heal, the world around you heals. It heals because you'll be more aware, more conscious of what's going on around you. And as you're more aware and more conscious of what's happening in the world around you, with a calm mind, your intuition will lead you. Your intuition will lead you to goodness. Intuition has been overlooked. The gift of intuition, right? It's a label we talk about to describe um, that those times where we know, but we just can't explain why we know, right? There's an inner knowing. It's like a gut feeling. That intuition is often denied by an overactive mind. This is what I realized in myself about the past. I would talk myself out of knowing what I knew so that I couldn't be wrong and that I could continue, I guess, playing a victim in my mind. I don't know. But brothers and sisters, we are here, all of us. We are here to shine in the world with our talents, with our inspirations, with our care, our compassion, being the body, the hands and feet to bring and share blessings from God, to be the instruments of goodness here in the world. What an amazing opportunity. It truly is. An opportunity to be alive and to be safe here in this world at this time. The future is happening. And that was something I was considering earlier today. The way I found peace in my mind, in my heart, with the way my life has been going, is by simply accepting the facts. There's no going back. There's no going back to redo, to unmistake, to, whatever. There's no going back in time, ever forward, ever forward. And there's no stopping time. The progression of life and the unfoldment of the universe, it's continuing. So there's no fighting that. So if the past is done, I can become whole and healed, despite my imperfections and wounds. I can bring forth the goodness of what the past has brought into me, and that's all of us. That's all we're here to do. The world we were born into, back to the conspiracies, through the legal systems, through the religions, the economic systems. It's overcomplicated everything. That's the way we're designed. It's beautiful. It's beautiful the way we're designed, because if the prideful, arrogant mind wants to think for itself and just rely on logic and reasoning, to ignore the intuition, to ignore the spirit, to ignore the truth of the beauty of life, well, the ego, if we allow the beast within us to rule us, you have to do this and others have to do that. And I got to punish this and never forget that. You live with that devil in control. You create your own hell. And that's what I used to do. So the ego that's within us, when our logical and reasoned mind, those gifts, when they're used for selfishness, we actually self-sabotage. I can explain that in so many ways, but look around. You can see selfish people, while they may rise in some ways, they're insecure, they're afraid, they're angry, they're bitter. They're not filled with joy. See, the true joy in life comes through giving. We all know that. I hope you know that. If you haven't known that, if you haven't realized that you really are rewarded when you give, when you become a blessing for someone else. If you don't know that, or you haven't tried that in a while, go do it. Go give it a shot. Go just randomly pick someone and brighten their day. Just be a miracle in their life. See how you feel. But, opportunities are there. If you look for opportunities, you'll find them. If you don't want opportunities, you won't see them. This life we're living here on earth as human beings, holy cows, man, it is a trip. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. We'll see what the universe brings forth. I'm finding I am admired. This was a thought I had earlier today. There's many people who have been very public and vocal about their opposition of me. That's why, it's part of my adventure. But something I know to be true, when those people choose to actually love me, to change their opinions of me, and to actually just love me like they do, Paul, unslaved, Illumitami, I'm sure Snafu loves me too. When we allow love to reign, oh my God, life is so much better. That's what I've been doing. That's what God's allowed me to learn, sincerely. There's a God of goodness. It reveals everything. Now, what we think of everything, good or bad, that's up to us. So the thing is we have within ourselves the mind and heart, right? The thoughts and the desires. Those are what we are in the world. Our thoughts and our desires, they can destroy us, make us do the stupidest things. And that, I think, is the role of some people, to show us how not to behave. But I see every problem, blessings to all of you who are here. I see every problem as an opportunity. Welcome, Snafu. Welcome back.
Mr. Talcott,
Where are
I
we
got
at
some
today?
questions for you. So who admires you?
There's many.
Can you name one?
I actually trust that God has an admiration for me and you. But what we
Well, I know
do,
God admires me.
based on your hospital frequency,
Based that I don't blasphemize or change scriptures and do weird stuff.
well, brother, you think you've been obedient, but hey, I don't want to argue and I don't want to insult. I care about you. I actually do. And our God, I think we
Right. I
agree.
care about you. I want you to be accountable. I want you to tell the people the truth, yo, instead of lying.
Snafu, I have been transparent and open about who I am and what I believe has been going on. I know that God is with us.
Including
I know that God
okay.
is, yeah, God is what has allowed me to learn what I've learned, to experience. I'm just like
Hmm.
everyone else, but I've been blessed with opportunities to learn different things. And this different things just gives me a different perspective on life.
So what have you learned differently?
I've learned a lot more about history than most people who I know. But with a
So I got a
focus.
question.
Here, just I'm sorry.
So you
Go ahead.
if I may, you get very angry, Talcott, eyebrows furrowed. The optics are high with you. Let me ask you this: if you ever were to get to any platform to speak to, I would call opposition, because these people want the wars, they want the legal secrets, right? If you can't handle, like me or Tommy or Paul or others, giving you criticisms, which, yes, raping a woman and many things get brought up in the past. You see it with political figures all the time. They're past. How are you going to handle when they give you opposition, especially if you're trying to put a stump in their money train?
I don't
Because
believe
you
they'd
can't
be
Nazi block them. Yeah.
two
Go
things
ahead. I'm
here.
sorry. I want to hear your answer.
Snap. Two things you've got to put into perspective. You want me to consider that your behavior would be that which others in positions of authority, you think they would behave like you have behaved. Number one, that's not accurate. Number two, our conversations would be on topic, specifically what to do or why it should be done. Because all I'm talking about here is that it makes sense to me that what God wants us to do, mankind, Christians and all, is to be honest people, caring people, loving one another. I'm pretty sure that's all the expectation is. And there's words in the scripture that Jesus said, his yoke, his yoga, his bind, his light. It's not a great expectation for us. But brothers and sisters, the power of your mind, it can destroy you or create you. The power of your words, right? The words and the vocabulary, what we say, it really matters. Because God has created this perfect experience, this realm of existence and life that you and we all share with all the animals, all the plants, all the unseen beings. We don't know what's in the world, man. But fear not. It's illogical. Fear has been proven right throughout history. Fearful propaganda, militarizing, dividing people, supporting wars. That stuff's still continuing. It's evil, right? It is evil. Every religion. I don't know how people are so dang confused. How are people so confused that war is not necessary? By God's grace, all things may be. If you focus on the problems in your life, those will be. If you focus on what's not in your life, that will be. You and we all have the ability, starting now, right now, to start nurturing, growing, renewing, repairing the life we've been given. Becoming honest, sincere, true, no more excuses, no more blame. There's no reason for bitterness and despair, not for me, not until I'm done. See, one thing I've learned in life, brothers and sisters, there is a perfection, an absolute perfection to time and the order of time. It appears chaotic to those who are unsettled. Welcome back, Snafu.
So, what actions is Jack Talcott going to take coming on the year 2025?
That is a question I keep going to God for. I don't know what I'm going to do each day. As a matter of fact, here we got another guest, but as a matter of fact, just this morning, welcome, brother.
So, Jack, I admire.
Welcome, gay, black, jab, Pfizer
Stop.
vaccinated Hank.
Yes. So, Jack, I admire you.
Well, I can't tell
because
the truth.
let me finish my
What
sentence,
is wrong?
Officer Snaps. God damn.
Please, please do.
Yeah. So I admire Jack that he thinks he's far less cynical than I am. He thinks it is an amount of love that will keep Officer Snaps from acting like a nutty conspirator who is completely unreliable, doesn't have the receipts, doesn't have reports, and actually can write checks his ass in cash. I don't think there's any amount of love that could make him stop acting the way he's acting. But Jack thinks he can eventually win him over.
There
So
is a
that's-
way. It may not be through me, but there is a way. And it's love. Love is part of the equation. What will really transform him is his acceptance of that which is true. His
I
behavior.
agree, but he's truth, yo. He's
Yeah,
going through his
can I ask
feelings.
you an honest question? Like, let's just be real. Hank is literally spitting in the face of victims of pedophilia. You see that circular symbol?
It's called
look it up
Cyclone.
on the FBI list. No. I'm going to talk to Jack about what you have problems with people putting nigger on the chat.
Snafu.
Hank is literally putting the
Snafu.
universal
I don't.
calling card for pedophiles.
Snafu, your narrative has been heard. Okay. I muted you.
Pedophiles. Hank is using.
I've been on a little
Well, what are you going to block me
for
for pedophile?
I'm problem with your son.
Would-
with saying the N word.
Like, really, he's mocking pedophiles, dude.
Would
He's
you
mocking victims of
please-
pedophilia.
It seems I can't. This is why we're still having these problems, Snafu. Because you ask a question, then you continue your narrative so long, you don't even consider the answer. So, Snafu, what you are doing is making a big deal out of nothing.
Bro,
You're
the FBI has
creating,
put out that symbol.
you're creating a false narrative for nothing. You're triggered, which is probably why Hank does it. What does that say, Cyclone?
Yes, that's the symbol he's complaining about. It's a cyclone. It's part of Unicode standard. Totally legal. It's been part of the standard since 2010, and that is emoji in 2015. So I don't see anything about pedophilia there.
How about this? There is the assumption that your use of that image is for other purposes. Hank, would you explain your intention for that symbol?
Yes. I didn't start using it till Officer Snap said that it's a bad symbol, and I just know this is part of my mind control techniques. I can make him Officer snap over bullshit because he doesn't have control of himself. He's trying to keep painting everything with this narrative, and he doesn't have evidence. He doesn't have receipts. He's just gonna keep repeating Joseph Goebbels style.
It's fascinating. Hank, okay. So, Snafu, Hank explained why he's doing it. And it's working. You're showing yourself to be triggered and kind of a fool.
May I speak openly?
Please do.
When I can speak openly, I'll speak. Go ahead. Let me know when I can speak openly, Jack. Okay, good. Hank is mocking. If you go to Google it, this is very well known. Okay, that spiral was put in YouTube algorithms for the pedos. All right, you Google it. The FBI has released what that symbol represents and what it's a calling card to. Even if Hank was trolling me, he's spitting in the face of victims of pedophilia by throwing up the universal of pedophilia out there. You Google what it says, spiral pedo symbol. It's that color that image,
Snafu.
that dude, he's mocking victims
I've
of
heard you
pedophilia.
out.
Y'all should fucking take a
Snafu.
break and
So I have a retort. Why should we do the research for him? I brought the page on my own to show you what the symbol was. Then he's saying you do the research for him. Why don't you bring up the page, Officer Snaps?
Rather than arguing over symbols again, right? Let's break this pattern. Because, Snafu, just because you see something, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Not every time. You've created these false narratives on me. This is yet another example, Snafu. Things are not always as they seem. And just because one thing may appear bad in one place doesn't mean it is. The swastika is another great example, right? World War II and the narratives of World War II destroyed that symbol. It's now evil, associated with atrocities of Germany. But the swastika it's identified as part of the natural movements.
Can you please pull up what I dropped backstage then? Since we looked at what Hank pull up and this is from the FBI. So Hank, people are watching you promote, and even if you're trying to taunt me because you want to get a rise out of me, that you're literally spitting in the face of victims of pedophilia by throwing up their calling card. Look at it, Jack. I put it in your backstage. He's literally mocking victims of pedophilia because he wants to.
So I have a question. Are you yourself a victim of pedophilia, Officer Snaps?
So that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, it's a different symbol. So I'm mocking him. So it's a direct question. Officer Snaps, are you a victim of pedophilia?
For one, it's not a different symbol. That's what Google put in for their pedophilia calling card. He's doing this to what? Mock me? To get a rise on it? So he's spitting in the face of pedophilia? Because he's using it to mock the pedophile. Jack, this is worse than a guy.
You're not answering the question. Are you a victim of pedophilia?
It's irrelevant. It is irrelevant. I think. I mean, it may be the reason behind his trigger. Who knows? You're right. You are right, Hank. He clearly has some emotional healing to do, and triggering people, there's other ways to heal, but you know what the trigger does for all of us? When we get triggered, it's an opportunity for us to look at ourselves. Anger can both hide answers and lead to answers. So, Snafu, if you look at why are you so agitated?
Why are you protecting a vaccinated pedophile supporter, nigger?
You're deflecting and
you're supporting a nigger pedophile.
Okay, you're not ready for adult conversations yet. Holy cows, man. Hey, you know what? I'm no psychiatrist. I'm no expert, but I do understand the mind and heart. I mean, thoughts and emotions. There are logical patterns to them. Welcome back, Denizen. How are you, brother?
Greetings. I'm well.
You're sounding low. I'm gonna turn you up a bit. How have you been?
I've been pretty good.
Glad to hear. Once again, one of the options. Well, here, the topic today, the idea is, admittedly, Jack is kind of in a good mood, and I just kind of wanted to flow with the day. But plant the idea and the question. It's Friday the 13th. Historically, that has been a day of success for me in different times. And so what could today mean? One of our options is in the back, Mr. Snafu, trying to figure out what is the meaning behind his emotional agitation.
Yeah, I was wondering if he takes himself seriously. And I mean that with all sincerity. I'm very curious about
I absolutely do. What's funny is the calling card for pedophilia is being ran around here on this channel, and none of you guys will stand up for the victims of pedophilia or mocking pedophile victims. Hank's obviously doing it because I stand for that. So I'm the only legitimate one who's standing up for fucking real optics of a pedophile jab fuck. So how dare you ask that, Dinzen? You fucktard. I'm the only one standing up for victims here. You guys are all embracing.
I can answer that calmly and politely, which you seem incapable of doing.
He clearly believes what he said, but please, let's see if he can receive your answer.
It's not that clear to me. I take him for his word because I have no other choice, but it is very foggy to me. But my answer is because it's not the same symbol.
It's absolutely the same symbol. You dumb fuck.
In fact, making a joke out of yourself.
Though? What do you think about him? Okay, even if it's not the same symbol, he's using it.
You were asked
to get the rise out of me. So that's him basically praising the pedophile symbol, right? So even if he's doing it in concords of saying, well, it trigger snaps for the pedophile optic. He's mocking victims of pedophilia, and it is the symbol of pedophilia.
He's mocking you.
Yes.
No, he's mocking pedophilia.
If he would calm down, any suggestions on how to convince him to calm down?
Yes. We asked him the pointed question if he is a victim of pedophilia because because I'm mocking him. He says I'm mocking victim of pedophilia. So therefore, he must be a victim of pedophilia himself. That's how the logic goes. So
it is what he's trying to conflate. That's his game. His game is if you mock me or question anything I say, you're mocking the victims of pedophilia and you're supporting pedophiles. That's his whole bag.
Well, I'm curious. Is he victim or perpetrator?
Yeah, me too. It could be both. I don't know. Let's ask him.
That is true. Because he's been accusing me of
Great.
Jack, you raped a woman. I'm not a perpetrator. You raped a fucking woman, Jack. You raped her. You raped a woman, Jack. And you call me a perpetrator. And Hank is throwing up pedophile symbols, mocking victims of pedophiles. And no, you know what? I'm like Sam I am. I'm okay to shit on pedophiles' graves. No.
And you're clearly triggered. You're either
that was a rather defensive answer.
Snafu. I don't want to be insulting, but you're presenting like a triggered bitch or like a triggered clown. Neither one is really to be taken seriously.
Pedophile shit here. You're backstaging me when you guys should be like, dude, yeah. Why?
Holy cow!
Why won't you answer the simple question? Are you, Officer Snafu Snaps, a victim of pedophilia? It's a very simple question.
I don't have faith he's willing to answer. He's not even shown any willingness to have an actual cooperative conversation. Snafu, I'm going to give you one last chance for today here. Please, the only request is you calm down so we can talk.
Right. I'm not a victim of pedophilia. I support people who kill pedophiles, and people are watching you throw up the pedophile symbol, Hank. So when you die, I'll be happy. You guys are literally, even if it is the same symbol, okay? But the fact is you guys are arguing it. That shows that you guys don't give a fuck about the victims. You guys are mocking them. Here. You're okay with Hank fucking playing games with the pedophile symbols in mockery. It's disgusting. You guys are literally, and I'm not a perpetrator or a victim.
Tell you what, so you can shut the hell up and maybe move your single focused mind off of something else. The symbol is gone. Can you stop behaving like a bitch?
Absolutely. As long as you're not throwing up pedophile symbol universal shit. we could go move forward.
Okay, so you just
See
admitted
how easy
your
that was to stand up
behavior.
for the victims of pedophilia?
Why are you
That's
not
not standing up for
listening?
victims.
Yeah, it is, because you're literally supporting them, Denson, you dumb fuck.
Snafu.
Criticizing a
Snafu.
symbol
Hey, do
isn't
you believe
supporting
in
anyone.
Hank getting jabbed and vaxxed, Denson? You think that's good too?
You know what?
I haven't said I
tried.
thought anything was good so far. You don't listen.
Why is he criticizing my medical decisions now? Do you have a time machine, Officer Snaps, I can use so I can commit myself to go on your plan so I can go to the hospital as much as you do?
What blows my mind, sincerely, those who are witnessing, this is my experience. Online is just a small taste of my life, but how does Snafu not see any good in what I'm doing, what I'm suggesting? Him and Tommy and Paul and others, they don't see anything positive from trying to end wars. See, because if this human trafficking is no joke, child abuse is actually a real soft spot in my heart. Okay? So I actually care about more than that piece of crap has been describing me as. Here's what I know. Mankind is insane. Hello. We can change the world. The systems of corruption have conditioned insanity amongst us, and praise God, social media allows the sanity to be heard and seen. Speaking of, welcome.
Greetings. It's
Mystic.
Mad Mystic. All right, let's talk about the Sean Atwood channel, who had big homie CC, who is a body. He's a bodyguard for P Diddy. I mean,
Does that have
for
anything to
celebrities.
do with?
No,
Hello.
stop.
No, you don't come in here and start talking about other people and then telling me to stop. Is there anything relevant? This is the only question I have, Mad Mystic. Is there anything relevant to this stream that you're bringing?
Yes, if you let me talk and stop fucking cutting me off like a blocking Nazi cunt.
Yeah, I don't have to. Later, lady. Holy crap.
Oh my.
Holy crap.
I don't get it. People come to your show and you expect to just usurp the host. That's absurd. And most of these people, I mean, do have channels. They get kicked out of YouTube because they can't follow policy and code. So they just try to hog up your platform. This is ridiculous. This is disrespectful.
They're indignant about it too. That you should have the audacity not to allow them to completely steamroll over your channel and what you're doing.
It's fascinating. I've been trying to figure it out. What the hell do I do with this? I know one option is just ban and block completely, but these people are sick. There's a sickness in them. If they're treating me this way, I know they're treating others that way. And I know that I can help the sick, the mentally sick at least. But just it's a pattern of the ego. I said earlier in the stream, the patterns of the ego, they're pretty obvious once you look, once you understand. They're self-destructive. They're selfish and self-destructive. They'll push away people trying to help them. The victims will become the perpetrators and create all sorts of lies against people who try to help them.
Yeah, I'm all for what you're doing right now. Give them a couple chances, then just put them in the back to calm down. I'm all for. Dennison, what do you think?
I don't think he's coming here for help. So I don't think he can be helped in that regard. He have a long journey ahead of him. before he even admitted he had a problem. To him, the rest of the world has the problem, and he's the only one who's got it figured out.
Denizen, there's a lot of those characters, right? I mean, there's a lot of those characters online think they know everything, and they're literally out of their mind. And you're right. This is what I've been facing. There's people who've joined who I know I could help them, but they want to insult me and interrupt me and argue against me, try to diminish me so that neither of us have value. However, my faith is in tomorrow. My faith is in the future. I don't know what God has planned for us. I said this to someone recently. I have no clue what God wants me to do differently to get different results. But I have faith. It's all coming together.
Well, I would take advantage of your faith. This must be it. That's the one thing that you have, over someone without faith. So take your victories where you can.
Faith confuses those without it. I used to be confused by people who had faith. I truly didn't understand it. It made no sense. This is the world we live in. Logic and reasoning is the entire political, economic structure. It's all data driven, and the data it's without heart. We live in
it's
a
about
world.
Jack and his rape optics and his pedo fucking boy lover spiral symbol. You're fucking back in here with fucking red hat fucking Hank.
That's
yeah,
retarded.
Sean Atwood covered it. You should go check out Sean Atwood and how they expose the pedo lover sign, you fuck faces, and you want to sit here and protect it? Really? You working for Jay-Z's team lately?
Right
Who's paying you? Oracle's backing this fucking filthy bunch. Lying sacks of shit. You're on blast now.
It's purple today. It's the same shape as the red one, but it's purple. Like your bra.
See, here's the thing. Whoever you are, you do a disservice to anyone who tries to combat pedophilia, because nothing you are saying is objectively true. You are saying objectively untrue things to people who aren't retarded and aren't completely insane. So no one's going to take you seriously, and you are the one who is mocking pedophilia. You are the one who is mocking the attempts made to stop child abuse. It's you, which is why your entire fucking charade when you come up here is one big, huge projection. Nobody on this panel supports pedophilia. You're a fucking whack job. Take a chill pill. Talk to somebody. Help yourself out.
Yeah, in fact, I had the same question from Mad Mystic. Were you a victim of pedophilia? Same question I asked Officer Snaps.
Word.
She just left.
Okay, she doesn't want to answer. Okay, that's fine.
It's a very reasonable assumption. And Denizen, thank you. Thank you for speaking the ugly truth. Very, very politely and accurately, I believe. Credibility is lost when you go around spreading just absolute lies. And when you're moved by emotion, you come in all ready to convict and ready to prove. And when you're moved by conviction and condemnation, you'll prove yourself to be a fool. Snafu, Mad Mystic, thank you for creating the evidence today of your mental health. Holy cows. Denizen, Hank, seriously, guys, this is the life, this is the world we're living in, and this is our life.
And frankly, those are the better-ish people. You know what I mean? Like, it gets way fucking worse than those two who are clearly mentally ill. and just want to have some obsession with pedophilia, which we all hate, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you could be Dick Cheney, that's far worse in my opinion.
I agree. I don't necessarily agree that they're clearly mentally ill because mental illness is made up anyways, but there is something wrong, and I'd still troubleshooting.
Yeah, more accurately put.
There's a clear connection to mind and emotions. And we live in a world where people's fantasies become real, the good ones and the bad ones. But the problem with this pretend world, and that's what it is. We've got employees in paid positions, pretending like they're in charge and they know it all, and everyone's pretending. People pretending to be experts, people pretending to be victims, people pretending to be judges. People live in a false reality. Delusions, those who believe in delusions will normalize their confusion. I used to live I never had peace in my mind because my mind was constantly going. And that's, in hindsight, that's when I realized my overactive mind trying to keep track of so many things, it prevented me from actually living. I was living subconsciously. And subconscious, that's why the American dream works. It's such a beautiful story, man. I'm telling you, God's got something amazing planned for us. There's something perfect about this clumsy language of English. There's something perfect about the powers of words and the unfolding, the story of history. It's a crazy story, man. Lots of moving pieces.
Yep. I know both Dennis and I are cynical, but I think we both enjoy your Pollyanna palate cleanser, who gives us hope.
Yeah, and I can interchange some of the words and come to similar conclusions.
Yeah,
we are on every page of that history, and we are God, right? So
we are. We are the eternal happening of today. And what could today mean? What I've been practicing, the meaning of each day, it's a chance for me to try again, to grow, to discover, to become better than I was. Today, I finally got over my excuses, and I don't know how long it'll last, but my physical activity, exercise, going for runs and stuff, I've been neglecting that. But if we become honest with ourselves, every single day is a day and an opportunity to learn something new, to become a blessing for ourselves and each other.
to completely change the course and direction of your life, no matter what your station is.
That's the amazing thing about choices. The making a choice, right? In all of these different scenarios, relationships or employment, where to work, all these choices, we get nervous. There's a lot behind a choice because a choice can totally redirect our trajectory in life. But I don't know if there's really, well, I don't want to get into that debate. I was going to say wrong choices. We can make stupid choices for sure. And I've made a lot of stupid choices where I knew better, but I did it anyway. And I was like, damn the consequences. I don't care. I'm going to do this that I know is wrong. Drinking. That's just one many example. But Sorry, I didn't mean to go rambling on.
It's your show. You have the privilege to ramble as much as you like.
I love you guys. We are a part of history, and I never really gave that much thought in the past. But we all have the opportunity. We don't know what the future will bring. I used to be afraid of choices. I was so afraid of being wrong. I was afraid of standing out. I was afraid of what people might think. So I was wise and calculating, and I did the things where I felt safe, where I thought I was right. But what I realized in hindsight, all that anxiety and worrying was a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
Choices? A leader makes choices. People are afraid to lead. But how do we know how to do anything until we try?
Right.
That was the question I had to call myself out on a lot in my past. Once I started realizing it, my mind, the rational mind can talk us out of following our intuition. It can explain our intuition or it can talk us out of it. The rational mind, it explains everything, but damn it. I started to learn to trust in my intuition a little bit more. And what that required me to do, my life allowed these changes, okay? I don't know that I'd voluntarily thought to go make these changes, but my life allowed a transformation for me. And I'm inviting others to believe that a transformation, it can happen for anyone. Even people like Snafu and Mad Mystic and many of the other characters who joined this way. We all have the opportunity to transform. It's a personal, what I suspect it is a personal relationship between us and God. In the context of God, from our experience, I know that as truth and love. Those two forces, those two powers, bring those together. I think that's the Father and Son that shines through us all.
And that is what I see in our stories and in our potential, even as an atheist.
You can see
to what you were saying earlier,
Yeah. And thank you
I
for
have a
having.
small amount of faith in that regard as well. I don't think I'm gonna live to see it, because to be realistic and positive at the same time, I have to give it the time it needs, and but we've had this conversation before. Your points are valid. And just like a choice can create an entire different reality, so too we can with as that is concerned as well. I would never argue with that on that point.
Denizen, that's one of the things I love about you. And I think that's why the three of us get along. That mind is open. Your mind is open and you're willing to allow my vocabulary to make sense to you in your way. You don't
a
get
lot of
hung
people
up.
are coming up here to battle their demons, Jack. Like, that is remarkable. It's one of the most remarkable things about this channel. and aside from the fact that we're all doing that as human beings all the time, myself included, I didn't come up here to battle my demons. I came up here to see how you're doing and shoot the shit, so.
I'm glad you did.
And specifically today, to ask Snafu if he takes himself seriously, because I've been very curious about that for quite some time. He does fascinate me in some ways.
This is something I learned. It's a pattern. And my thoughts actually came from Paul, because I've asked him, I'm confident he doesn't go back and listen to his words. The thing is, if we don't listen to ourselves, we're just saying from emotions. We can think we're right, but if we're not listening to our words, why should anyone else? And since I know these people who are, like you said, they're bringing out their demons towards me, and they're not listening to what they're saying. They're not making any sense. So it's easier to dismiss those who don't have our best interests in mind. And this is what I don't understand. Go ahead, Hank. Sorry.
Maybe they have a point. Maybe Dennis and I are laying beside our demons instead of fighting them, and that makes us bad. I don't know. Maybe they have a point.
Wait, what makes us bad?
That we're laying before demons instead of fighting them. So we're bad, evil, magicians or something.
Yeah, so, I mean, he could be specific with his words and say that my indifference and irreverence and mockery ultimately supports, insert whatever here. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying that the fucking spiral means I support pedophiles.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
then I don't even know what the hell she was talking about. She knew what she was talking about. She was talking about something very specific, and you could tell by the tone of her voice that she was convinced all three of us knew exactly what she was talking about as well. But that's why you're insane, lady. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know who those people are. We aren't in some secret pedophile supporting cult.
Who are you talking about? That Jubilee kind?
No.
I don't know.
Your mommy and daddy.
She came up here and
say that's my face, Berg nigger.
I will. I'm doing it right now.
This is one big happy family already.
Holy
cow. Jack, you can keep playing your little word games, your little thing about we can still love those we have disagreements with. You install the word disagreements inappropriately, and you also demonize disagreements inappropriately, and you shake your head no as if that means a thing. Have fun in hell, Jack. You won't.
I love you too, Tom. This is another. See, if there was an opportunity to discuss his conclusions, a reasonable person could allow their mind to be changed. Tom, you've become disagreeable, and you seem to be proud of your disagreeable nature, just like your daddy. As much as you want to say you're nothing like him, you guys are so similar.
I was referring to Officer Snaps as his daddy because let me put it this way: we really can't get rid of your parents, and he can't get rid of Officer Snaps, and neither can Paul. So that's both of their daddies.
I don't like that association. Not that way to connect it. Hey, we are all characters. We're all grown men, grown women, allegedly, who are living this life. The online stuff, I think it's a way for people to kill time, to find entertainment, to connect, to let out some of their emotions. I've done it. There's plenty of evidence of angry Cot and Jack dropping down into the battles. But what if this is in preparation for what's to come? Because sincerely, guys, there's something bizarre going on in my personal life. It's opened my mind to the belief, to the trust that there is a God who is with us, a God who reveals each day to us. Results are not in our control. We don't get to control the results of what we do, but we are responsible for our efforts and our directions, and most of all, our intentions. And I feel right inside of me, despite the lack of results and despite the past failures, My intentions have been pure. My efforts have been authentic. And I have faith that things are going to work out. Somehow, some way, I want Donald Trump to see my face. I'd love to meet him in person, but, hell, even through a computer screen, he and I could have some conversations. Praise God, man. That's my dream. I want it. I want to help. It's me so far. It's not. It's us. Because these ideas, we are part of the organism of Earth as well as each other. I believe that in the design of everything, Earth actually plays a big part in creating us, and we're like the consciousness here that's not to rule over the Earth and have dominion over everything. We're here to nurture it, to care for the Earth, to bring forth all the capabilities. Guys, we have a chance in this lifetime, sincerely, I'm inviting you guys to consider, see if this feels right for you, but I've considered it may be possible that I may be one of those named in history. That's my purpose, is to be remembered. Not for me, but for what gets accomplished with me, through me. My prayer for the rest of my life, online, my hope is to be a little voice of encouragement, a little bit of inspiration, helping to inspire and encourage others to claim their life and to create the life they want to live. And at the same time, it seems to me that this could become a Christian movement, and why it hasn't happened before, I'm not sure. But everything happens in time. And if the body of Christians united together, would we not be able to overcome the corruption? Of course we could. We don't have to settle for corrupted officials in our government, in our corporations. We don't have to settle for that. Snafu?
Round 2.
Are you
So
there?
are these two losers part of your cabinet? Because I've
Is this
talked to
supposed to
Trump.
hurt my feelings?
Yeah, I've talked. Dude,
Yes,
Dimson, you're a fucking
absolutely.
loser. I've talked to Trump.
Is
My
that supposed to
connections,
hurt my
Jared
feelings?
Talcott. My two connections. I've talked to Trump. I still could if I wanted to, but they're both. Trump's an elitist piece of shit too. Now, they're all elites. But I got connections. So, have you emailed any of the people on Trump campaign? Have you gone to any events? Have you good action, Jack, or do you just come on YouTube talking? What actions have you taken to get a hold of Trump? Because the old Snafu Snaps has met him more than once, actually.
See,
Welcome, brother.
Are you sure he takes himself seriously? It's clear to you? Is it really clear to you? It's not clear to me.
Pretty clownish, so I'm not quite sure.
Welcome, Zach. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, Jack. Just, every day I'm perplexed by the way these people come back to do the same thing. And I just think, God, how can they not have anything better going on in their life? But, Jack, I realized something that makes you an outlier on social media. There's not a lot of people pushing really a message that's positive. I mean, there are people out here, but there's just so much more negativity. Positive videos, usually not a lot of views. This negativity stuff, just a million views, hundreds of thousands of views. I clicked on one of these videos and then it just started flooding my feed with just all these people that are just so down on life. It was the other day, it was a video by a 51-year-old man who was talking about how he has no children, no wife, no friends, had like 500,000 views. I clicked on that video and just wanted to listen to it just because it showed up in my feed, just whatever, just hear this man's story. Man, now my feed just every time I log on is full of things just like this. And I mean, I think we can all relate to these situations and why there are so many people that have these same stories where they feel so isolated, and then they end up online because it's the only way they feel like they can connect with anybody. But it's just like people are, I think it's part of our human nature to just be drawn so much more to negativity. But you're on here like trying to say, you guys, to solve these problems that we're all feeling, we got to have more love in the world. And then, you start every day you start off with a nice message to everybody, even your trolls. Like, come on here. Oh, it's just like, anyway, it's just all you guys out there who come here every day to do this with Jack. Can you guys just admit the next time you come on? Can you guys just start off by saying, you know what? Thank you, Jack. You're the only one in my world that gives me any attention. Because I know that's it. We all know that's it. So, anyway, I do got to hop off, Jack, but I just had to come on and just share my thought of the day as I just, you're trying to do something positive every day, but then it's the same people that make it Groundhog's Day every day. And anyway, pushing on everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm forcing to get new material. I'm putting pressure on them so they don't bore Jack too much. Or me.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for putting positive stuff out in the world, Jack. Keep it up.
Hey, you as well, Zach. Sincerely, your messages, you're showing a lot of the darkness, but you have a voice of encouragement, and that's the message I get from you every time.
Well, maybe not every time. I have my days too, but I try to have the glass is half full approach most of the time. So, all right. Thanks again, you guys. Take care.
Right. Blessings, brother. I appreciate that. And that cup half full, recently I was reminded Bruce Lee's words: empty the cup, become empty, flow like water, bend like bamboo. Right? These metaphors of life. It is important for us to condition ourselves to stay present, to stay grounded. Because as long as we're present and grounded, we have the mind. The mind can find solutions. It can find goodness. It's when we get frantic, when we lose hope. I've been there. So, sorry, my mind drifted. Thank you for joining, Zach, sincerely. And for those who haven't checked him out, he does. He's got in his messages, it's about take care of your life, be healthy, think about the future, pay attention to what's going on, help educate other people as well. Snafu.
You ever seen the footage where Zach Hubbard got knocked the fuck out by Antifa because he put his nose where it should have belonged? It's pretty funny. I'll drop it backstage.
But I saw the footage where you admitted to protecting
Hey, we're talking about Hubbard here, gay black jab tank, pedophile supporter. But hey, Zach, do you approve of Zach grifting and lying to the audience for, beneficial? No, do you approve of this? Because Zach's known grifter. Zach Hubbard's a known idiot.
Snafu, do you approve of your behavior? Do you take yourself seriously?
I call scumbags like you and Zach Hubbard out. Zach Hubbard, let's play the footage of where he got knocked the fuck out.
Okay. Our world is the way that it is because ignorance has been enabled. Snafu, I've tried communicating with you. You have so many flaws in your narratives. It's time for you to start looking at you. I tell you, guys, we're living at a time, this YouTube thing, our time and attention individually, every one of us, our time and attention is what creates our day, our life. What is our time and attention being spent on? What are we consuming? What are we receiving? I'll tell you what, when I'm not doing this part, I do still have YouTube on quite a bit. There is so much to learn. There are so many amazing creators. Were you hopping in, Hank?
Yeah, like one of the things I'm trying to learn is how to make my own cyber deck, which is pretty much a custom computer unit. So like you can build your own laptop or build your own like a PDA or something. And I'm gonna have to use YouTube and like live like blogs to do so because they don't teach that in college.
Good for you. And absolutely. I had forgotten, honestly, in this life I'm living, I became part of the American dream. And I started down this path. There's a perfection to our clumsy language, the English language and the words, but the American dream, you don't know you're living in a dream until you awaken. The return of Christ will be that. It will be the realization and awakening and whatever other variables the future brings, but it's time. Sorry, I took us off again. We are living at a time where humanity, throughout the past, humanity has been fractured and divided. And what we're just, each of us we're fractals of the greater. So the broken nation has created broken families, created broken individuals. And I truly think that we are this generation. We are here to lead the new world. The new world energies are going to be, they're going to come forth through us. And the new world is starting now. So what could today mean? Friday the 13th? Everything can mean anything we want it to mean. All that matters is what is real. And how we feel is a part of our reality. Hank, you mentioned something earlier about what Denizen was talking, the demons.
Yes.
The demons are with us. I mean, there's varying, I won't dismiss. I think there are like powerful demons and angels, right? Beyond the physical form, but within us. That's the idea of the shadow integration. We develop these shadows, these inner darkness in our lives when we dismiss how we really feel, all those times where we want to ask or we want to say and we don't, all those times where we could have done and we held ourselves back. Every time we do that stuff, we deny our potential, it starts building up. And then we normalize this incompetence. It's in the darkness. So the idea is to, rather than have the demons be unrecognized, we intentionally go within ourselves to examine. A life not examined is truly not worth living. So we examine ourselves and bring the darkness into the light.
Yes, so Denizen and I choose to lay beside our demons instead of fight them, which is why we're so mellow but cynical. I admit we could ultimately be the bad guys, but I don't see the evidence yet.
I see a couple of pretty good guys. I really do. Who, especially, no, I don't want to call it.
How dare you?
You've both been good examples for me in actually communication and being able to stay present, not getting emotional.
Yeah, this is I mean, for me, this is my challenge. Whenever, every interaction I have, it's like, how can you make the best out of this, and how can you screw it up? Then go.
So let's see what happens. We don't find out if we don't try.
I take a lot of latitude in my honesty about it too. You know, a lot of people would say it borderlines on abusive because, you know, I give myself a lot of leeway for the fact that I'm upfront and honest about who I am, what I'm about, what I'm trying to do. So if I fall on my face or I make mistakes, it's like, you know, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect. So,
right. I feel that that's, from what I'm understanding, you're very intentional with your authenticity. You're pretty forthright with, this is how I am and this is what I'll say, and it's not always received well, is it?
yeah, and if some, you know, from the perspective of someone who might take it personally or be injured by it in some way, then my honesty can be seen as a shield, right? Because it's all that's going to be the excuse for my behavior from a certain perspective. It's not how I see it either. Otherwise, I wouldn't behave that way. But I do understand that perspective.
You know what? Those simple words, understand their perspective. That's a gift that we can allow ourselves. Trying to understand someone else's perspective. It's really easy to find disagreements, but if we disagree with things we don't understand, we might be wrong. I used to do that quite a bit in my life, and I didn't realize I was doing it. But the way I found more comfort in myself, knowing when I'm right, knowing when maybe I'm kind of stepping out on this, knowing the limits of my knowledge, that is a path for all of us to try and figure out too. Because when we humble ourselves, being willing to be wrong, and that's what Denizen, I mean, I don't know if it's an excuse. You're just honest. Yeah, I'm willing to make mistakes. I'm willing to be imperfect. Sometimes I misspeak. Sometimes I might do it on purpose.
Yeah, I have to, in fact, because I have no other way to learn as a human being. I have the same limitations as everyone else.
Exactly. I think that's part of this.
Monkey can only learn from burn hand. The only way.
This life, man. It's partially true. Sometimes, actually, I think that's part of what society has done. People have been assigned so many labels. They've been given so many opinions by authority. Teachers, principals, counselors, doctors. I think many of us overcomplicate learning. But I tell you what, that's something I wish I'd have been aware of, but I encourage anyone with children or, heading down that path. It's simple and obvious. The greatest gift we can give to our children is helping them understand how they learn. What is their best method of learning, right? Introduce them to a variety and give them the benefits of different ways of learning and let them learn as much as they want. That's something I do regret. And here, my life is the Talcottian adventure, man. It is a crazy drama story. But I am honest about my lessons because I hope it can help others, like Denizen said. So we don't have to just learn simply by the hard stuff. That's something I overlooked. How much I actually knew that I didn't share with my son. I missed out on sharing so much with him, which, he didn't see my value. This is how I realized it. It's been over 6 years now. but I was easily walked away from because he clearly didn't see the value in me. I didn't see the future of the world the way that it was. You know, the way I was raised, I know how to survive. I know how to forage. I know how to build shelter. I know how to do primitive and be creative. So that upbringing of wilderness living, knowing that I can take care of myself, it allowed me not to be so worried when I was facing eviction and homelessness. But see, I didn't instill that in my son. I didn't give him that benefit. Life is interesting, guys. That's what I know for sure. And every day, we never know. We never know what might happen. We never know what ideas may come forth. We find the right idea, we find the right choice to make. Like we mentioned earlier, a choice can change our trajectory forever. And it does. But there's no undoing the choices we've made. There's no point living in regret or shame or resentment and hate. If you break it down and you become honest, there's no point living with worry and fear either. What could today mean? I think it means a new start. What are you guys feeling?
I'm curious as to why Chuck is here and how come he's
Well,
so quiet.
I
Kiddos.
didn't want to. I had to tend to the dog barking. I apologize for that. But I came here to ask a question because I have a theory, and I can't prove it. That the thoughts. This was from earlier when Jack was talking. The thoughts come from our brain. However, I feel that our emotions come from our heart. Because if I know in the past when I've been hurt, it was in the chest and the stomach that I felt the emotional pain, you know, not in the brain, but in the heart area. And I don't know if anybody else kind of thinks along those lines or not, but I think the emotions come from the heart.
I think thoughts and emotions come from an electromagnetic field, and they're just those are points of transpondence.
I think your body is in a constant feedback loop with itself, and then when other people are involved, now you have two feedback sources, and it's all, there's no nature versus nurture, so there's no heart versus brain.
There's
They're all
one.
just, yep. And that one is your stomach and all the little bacteria in it too. Like everything about you, including how hydrated you are, is going to affect how you feel at any given moment.
Infinite variables.
But you
It's
don't
amazing.
think emotions, have you not ever felt those emotions on the inside as opposed to the brain?
I can see that there's definitely a connection that my heart will increase its rate and pump more blood to my brain, which will flood my heart with chemicals to make me feel a certain way. They rely on one another, to get me going.
Does that make sense, Chuck?
Yeah, yeah. You
I've
were talking about
considered,
emotions earlier. That's why I brought it up.
I actually identify emotions. It's energy in motion. It's the inner state of our beingness. And it's communicated through the sensory organism, the biology of our body, through all these chemical reactions and electrical signals. I've theorized that, and I may have these words backwards from other people, but I envision like there's an eternal soul, and then there's like the personality, the character of us in our spirit. And so the spirit, the unphysical part of us that is our personality and desires, it is the conscious love. That's what Jesus was, the embodiment of a man with perfect consciousness and love. And so that's what our spirit is. It's intelligence and emotion. So I've considered that perhaps, right? God created the heavens and the heavenly beings, and through the universe of form, this the word just slipped my mind. This I think it's corporeal.
Corporeal, yeah, corporeal.
Thank you. I think that's the right word. The corporeal, this life of living, this is the one place where our mind can get separated from our heart, and our mind can imagine a separation from God. I said a long time for that.
So I disagree with the model because I never seen even I have never seen a soul separate.
Wait, did I freeze or you guys?
I think it's Hank.
Just Hank.
I think Hank froze.
Okay. Yeah. Chuck, I remember, actually, this is one of the things I've been learning. The practice of meditation. It's to train the mind to focus and to bring your awareness to different aspects of life. And so the practice of mindfulness, that is a key for our life, truly. That's actually, I'm not done yet, but that's actually what I tried to take to the Postal Service, was to introduce a program of mindfulness for the employees. But
yeah, I got a different interpretation, but that's okay.
A different interpretation of
meditation.
What was different?
In my seeking of the spiritual world, when I'm in prayer, I am talking to God. When I'm in meditation, I'm listening for God, if that makes any sense.
How are you listening?
By trying to clear my mind of anything. And if I have a problem or a particular situation, I just relax and try to listen or feel for what is the right way to proceed.
Is that what you've done with me by chance?
I've tried. Lord, I'm trying. That's why I'm here, Jack. I come in peace.
Yeah, but Chuck, I think you say a lot of things you don't actually understand.
I understand. I mean, God saved me from alcoholism. God rebuilt my life. God has rewarded me.
Are you bragging? Are you?
No.
I'm not sure what's relevant about that.
It's a testimony, for lack of a better word.
And I don't think you're actually communicating with me again, because I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
I'm listening.
Well, I've made the claim that I suspect you say things that you don't actually understand, that you're not actually having the conversations you think you are, especially with me. Because I'm trying to understand, why is Chuck here, especially after the things he's been saying and doing? But you're here, and I'm not judging. I'm grateful you're here.
Well, I haven't talked about you lately, Jack. I've left you alone. out of conversations. I have barely been on any YouTube shows or panels, whatever you want to call them, like a timeout.
So back
And
to,
go ahead.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
was trying
God,
to
this
get back to
dog.
the conversation and the point, because you brought up I never really got to the point of where I was going. I kind of did, but the reason I brought up meditation was one of the aspects of mindfulness, bringing awareness to your inner being. And you found a disagreement. You told me you had a different definition of meditation, and then you brought up when I prayer, I talk, and when I meditate, I listen. So because of what you were describing, your practice of meditating and listening, I thought I'd press a little bit, Chuck. And I was curious, have you prayed and meditated? Are those the answers you got, was to be oppositional to me?
I wasn't trying to be oppositional to you. I was just trying to explain what my perception of prayer and meditation was.
He might just be an oppositional kind of guy.
What I
Because I felt the same way when I was trying to describe my, reaction to his emotions and heart kind of thing.
He's an example. Chuck, I love you. You are an example of a human being brought into my experience to show me the closed mind. The egoic mind that is fixed on itself, its
Mine
beliefs.
is not fixed. I am not.
It doesn't actually really care about what other people say unless it feels that it's right. It's not really willing to be wrong. It's not willing to actually understand. This is what I mean. People pretend to understand. They pretend to care. And then you interact with them and you see they clearly don't understand. They clearly don't care. So what do we do? Chuck.
So you're saying that my way of seeking spiritual guidance and seeking God is wrong? I don't know if it's
It
right
seemed
or
like you
wrong.
couldn't.
Chuck, that's actually exactly what you've been doing with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like you can't express your particular whatever it is, even if it was the example that I brought up, without using oppositional language.
Well, that's probably my fault.
It might even just be a tone thing and not an actual problem. But there does seem to be a lot of,
yes.
Well, there's a lot of no but in what you say, even when there seems to be some kind of agreement. And that comes across as being hyper focused on what possibly could be a disagreement rather than sharing in the agreement at all.
That's well said. What I see happening with patterns of the ego is an avoidance of understanding. People will literally avoid making an agreement. They avoid cooperating. This is where I know I'm sincere when I say this. The words in the Bible, there's a lot of wisdom to be found. There's the Christ within us all. As Jesus said, he is with all of us. That trueness of nature, of goodness, God's goodness is with us all. Also with us all is the darkness, the selfish, manipulative, oppressive ego that wants everything to be the way that it wants.
I know in my life I do not fight it. I go with it and try to come up with solutions. I try to do God's will, not mine, because my will got me in trouble before.
Well,
I try to keep my will out of it.
okay, Chuck, but this is something I've encouraged you and others to please consider. There's something unique happening with me. So, Chuck, I don't know that you've really been what you just said. You haven't really been bringing solutions or being the positive man of God that you want.
I said to my life, not to
Right,
your life,
not in
to
my
my life.
experience. Chuck, in your life has included my experience, and my experience of you has not been rewarding or pleasant so far.
Yeah, I apologize for my disappearance. Something Comcastic happened to my internet connection.
Sorry,
Welcome
Hank,
back.
I didn't mean to do that.
Welcome back. And I don't remember where you were at, to be honest. I held the thought for a moment.
I do remember. I just disagree with the model because I haven't seen a soul with a body represented physically or in the drawing, because there's a soul just happen to be some kind of ethereal body, but that's still a body. So, look.
It's a mystery, and I allow it to be a mystery. It's a body without form, without dimension, without even limits. I think that's kind of what God is, the embodiment of, I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, I agree that God, the embodiment, I don't know. Yeah, I actually agree with that.
So thank you back, and for returning back. Chuck, you and I have had past misunderstandings.
I'll agree.
We failed to find agreements because, well, not from lack of my effort, but Chuck, what is negative besides you?
What you're saying right now, what you're saying online is different than what you say when you're off screen. You're not the same person.
What example, what are you referring to, Chuck?
The last 2 times that we've talked in private, you've screamed at me. You got up on your, yes, you screamed and called me a no good motherfucker.
Well, I
and
actually
you kept repeating
Chuck,
it, and then you threw me out without any discussion.
Chuck, okay. Now that here, I'm not in that emotional state anymore. And
Neither
so
am I.
You clearly brought this up to, I guess, diminish me. You want me to look bad, and
no, you just
why are you
asked me what the
interrupting me?
wedge
Why
was.
are you interrupting me, Chuck? Please don't
because
interrupt
you asked me a
Chuck.
question. You asked me a question.
In the middle of my statement, I asked you a question.
Yes, you did. You said you did not know what the wedge was. What is it? So I was trying to lay it out there what the part of the wedge was. If you don't want to admit
Chuck,
it, that's fine. That's on you.
Chuck. Okay, great. Now may I continue?
Go ahead.
So, yes, Chuck, but let me correct you. It wasn't as you claimed. The words that I said to you, and I did yell, I said, fuck you, Chuck. Fuck you, Chuck. Now, why did I say that? Could that be? Do you care about why? Or do you want to just imagine your own narrative?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
So, the reason I withdrew all respect and kindness, and I chose to be profane and rude to you, was because you, after being a nuisance on my stream, you hung out and waited until my private time. And if I remember right, Machine Lies was there. But It was time where I was going to decompress, my personal time. I'm not here for others, but you chose to stick around to again expect me to sit there while you fucking insult me to my face like an idiot.
I did not insult you.
What did you say
You
then, Chuck?
I was trying to explain to you how I was trying to relate to your personal life with my personal life, and you called me an egotistical motherfucker that wanted to make it
You're
all about
selfish.
me, which
Chuck,
is a
yes,
lie, which is a
Chuck,
lie, Jack.
you're doing it here again.
A little bit,
Negative,
yeah.
You're playing a victim so that you
negative.
can, you're not.
Nope.
So see, Chuck, this is what I'm talking about. Your patterns of denial. You don't even
What about
consider.
yours?
Maybe he's being honest.
I am being honest, innocent.
He's
I
not
am being
considered
honest.
based on his behavior. He's living a lie. Okay. He has literally, while he wants to play innocent, oh, I haven't talked about you because I haven't been online recently. I'm so good now, Jack. I've changed. He has for years been going around just out of the blue, bringing Jack's name up in conversations on other panels with other viewers just to diminish Jack, to make fun of Jack. I haven't deserved that. I've never done anything to Chuck, but he's playing this fucking game. Well, you did it, Jack, so I get to do this. He's making it up. He's insane with denial.
So here's the thing. Jack says the same stuff in public and in private. So there you go. And we can prove it just by watching the show over again or watching the other show. So Jack says the same stuff in public and private.
Thank you. I mean, Chuck he literally brought it up with the condemnation that Jack is so different offline. He's a hypocrite. He's so wrong. The patterns of denial. Chuck, when you keep interrupting me or everything I say is an immediate disagreement, that shows you.
You know, denial means don't even know I'm lying.
Correct.
I think it flows both ways like a highway.
Chuck, you think wrong.
You cannot take somebody trying to relate to you in the same situation. You take it as an attack. It wasn't an
Chuck,
attack. It was to let you
Chuck,
know that. Yes,
I
dear.
know. Chuck, your narrative is inaccurate. That's why you're unsettled.
No,
You
you're
don't seem to care about
distorting
facts. I'm going to take a break from Chuck. I've had better luck recently with Margot. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Jack. I'm good. I have an observation.
Please.
Well, I've been to many AA meetings, probably, I don't know, 6 a week for years. I'm not saying Chuck's right or you're wrong or Chuck's wrong, but Chuck seems to me to be an AA icon. I mean, don't you see absolute AA in what he says and does? And I'm all AA as well. I'm all AA as well. Again, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I think it's sad that you guys aren't able to have like minds on many things, because I think you could. There's some sort of barrier. I'm going to say that it's, well, I think sometimes you have a mindset, and I can tell, I've known you long enough that when someone comes up on panel, if you find them to be agreeing with you, you're more relaxed when they come on. If it's someone that you haven't agreed with recently, you kind of tense up. Does that make sense? And that's not a bad thing. That's just an observation.
It's a little inaccurate, though.
Well, no,
Even if
well,
it's
okay, let me use myself as an example. You know, Jack and I have had years of disagreement. And up until recently, he and I haven't seen eye to eye, but recently we have been. And I think he's more at ease when I come up on panel. It's not a bad thing. I'm not even saying it's a shortcoming. I'm just, I hope you and Chuck can start to see eye to eye sometimes for your sake and for him, because I really care about Chuck and you.
I disagree with Jack all the time. I just don't do it to be disagreeable. And I think that's the thing Jack has a bias against. And once he's made up his mind, with good reason, one could argue, then you could accuse of him being stubborn beyond the point of being helpful beyond that. That we can say about our friend Jack. I just don't want it to be lost in the ether there, as though it's the mere disagreement that causes him to act the way that he does.
That's
and
why
then I got a phone call right in the middle of what I was saying. I was going to say, I think maybe Chuck is being as honest as he can be, and he's really just
I'm trying.
I'm
trying.
He might not be good at expressing himself, Jack. He may mean exact. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
That's why I prefaced it with my experience with AA and what I hear Chuck say, because most of the time what I'm hearing Chuck say is something that I hear from other AA people. So Chuck is coming from that arena of thought and the book of AA and the fellowship of AA. Dennison, I think you're purely Dennison. I think you say something, you say what comes into your mind, where Chuck might filter it or adjust it a little bit according to his AA experience.
Well, it's the spiritual experience that I received.
If I can, Margot, I appreciate your observations, and I'll even agree that you may have some truth where my energy is different. Dude, I've been attacked. I have been relentlessly attacked and mocked and online, and well, online has been more than off, but yeah, I guess I still have tendencies to be a little defensive, especially when I've been subjected to insults and mischaracterizations by people like Chuck of all.
Thank you.
Well, and that's why I said I don't see it as a shortcoming at all.
Thank you. Well,
I said that as well. I'm not trying to take a dig at you, Jack. I'm not trying to say that you're doing anything wrong. I just hope that you and Chuck can find some common ground. And
that's why I keep coming back. Yes.
And I respect Chuck 100%. So
thank you, Margot.
And partially because we're part of that same fellowship as AA. And also, even though you guys do disagree often, I do think he cares about you.
Well, I appreciate that. And Margot, please recognize my ability to change with you was in greatly part due to how you have shown up too. And that's, if Chuck would.
Well, Jack, let me say it. I apologize if my tone comes off or my rhetoric comes off wrong. I don't mean it that way.
It's not the tone. It's not the rhetoric.
I come here with the best intentions, but you refuse.
Not accurate, Chuck. If you claim you show up with the best intentions, you've been blocked from the chat because you are completely contrary and negative. You're really not one of my favorites here. I tolerate you. I don't really even want you here if you haven't taken that hint. So for you to show up and continue,
the spirit guides me to do this.
Your ego is keeping you. I can't even say what I was going to say, and you're
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tell me what you disagreed with, Chuck. You fucking clown.
that you're saying it's my ego. You're the one that's living in ego, not me.
Chuck,
I surrender
again.
all to
Okay,
what I call
I
the
look,
think we're all
creator.
living
does
in
he not
ego,
sound like
Chuck.
a
And
little child?
Oh, I
Chuck,
agree with you.
seriously, Chuck, we all
Okay.
live in our ego. That's first of all. So this is not judgment, brother. But
Well, you can't get rid of
you
ego.
have
I
constantly
agree.
every single time we've talked about anything on this channel since you came up, you made it about yourself. And then
No.
you are telling Jack how it's all in his head, and Margot rushes up to reinforce that. It's like living in the Twilight Zone, buddy.
Well, see,
Thank
you're already biased, Denizen. You're fucked up.
There
There's
you
the
go.
real
True
Chuck, by
colors
the way.
coming out. There we
Yeah.
go.
Who knows what the fuck he was gonna say, but it proves the point. Whatever it was, it proves the point. Chuck, you don't know anything about me. We've never even met or had an extensive conversation.
See,
And I'm sorry I said you were egotistical, just like every other human being on the face of the planet, bro. But clearly it hurt your feelings, and the first reaction was to lash out.
Yeah, we can pick up on people's energy, so that's why we didn't buy the story. I'm sorry.
We're at the 2-hour mark. I think Chuck has taken up more than enough time today. He's returned in the back. He doesn't take a hint. And this is why he got yelled at. Sitting around and where I don't have an audience. Yeah, I'm going to yell at this motherfucker. He's a clown. I got no respect for him anymore. But he'll play this game. Well, I guess I'm doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I guess so. But still, soft Officer Snaps is still Officer Snaps. We could tell.
I don't know. You know what? I do feel like wrapping it up. You guys have final words. Margot, thank you. Sincerely.
You're welcome, Jack. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Blessings. Oops.
So I just have a final question. So, and I know Illumitami, Officer Snafu Snaps, Mad Mystic. If you weren't abused, you weren't abused by pedophile. Why you talk about it each and every day? You haven't explained it to us yet. I just want you to kind of explain it because I don't understand the mind trap. We don't like it, but it doesn't mean that we have to ruminate over it each and every day because it just.
And his conflation of mocking him with mocking victims is factually untrue.
Absolutely.
We've established it's unfounded.
Exactly. So I just want you guys to elaborate so I can understand your perspective. So we don't have to be as opposition to each other. But if you refuse to elaborate, just keep attacking. Well, I can counterattack. I have some power. So.
Yes, you do. Hank, thank you, brother. I love that you show up and that you bring you. Thank you for joining again.
Thank you for having me, Jack.
I'm going to go have a good day. I'll see you guys later.
Blessings to you, Denizen. Sincerely appreciate you joining as well. All who joined. We got some radical characters who clicked the link today. Holy cows, praise God. Human beings come in the most different sort of ways. Every one of us is a uniquely created ego. Every one of us is a uniquely created being of life. We can find all sorts of labels for ourselves, for each other. We can use our logic and reasoning to literally drive each other mad. People do that. People drive each other mad. Why? Why do they do that? Why do they like seeing the emotions come out and getting people angry? Why do they enjoy the darkness? Bitterness, unresolved hurt. That's what cripples a man. That's what cripples a woman is unresolved emotional trauma. memories that bring up insecurities and shame. And then if you've got insecurities and shame, you got to make sure others have their insecurities and their shame. And then we've got a world filled with insecure people, shameful, afraid of what the future's going to bring. I used to play that character. I laugh at that character today. Brothers and sisters, if you hear what I'm saying, if you ring with what is true, sincerely, what could today mean for you? It could mean the start of something new. It could mean the choice to grow and change directions and to truly become a part of the greater things. I invite all of you. I forgot I got notes. I had notes on consciousness and meaning of today and life, but here's where it comes down to, brothers and sisters. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. Allow love, the answer of love, to lead you to the question, and the question will lead you to the answer of love. Love is the way. It's the only way. To do anything else is insane. Brothers and sisters, stay sane. Let's see what happens in the future. You're welcome to join in the adventure again, maybe tomorrow, maybe later. Brothers and sisters, thank you. Choose love. Peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all.